Hello everybody, Dr. Feist here again, and coming to you from St. Paul University Faculty of Philosophy. I'd like to talk to you briefly about a course I'm teaching this fall that's an introduction to philosophical reasoning. Now there's two basic views on reasoning. So what's going on here with these two basic views? Well, the two basic views go like this. Plato, from antiquity, says something like this, that the philosopher, when it comes to reasoning, the philosopher can escape, get out of the cave. Escapes the cave. What's the cave? Well, it's a great little story Plato tells in the Republic, but in a nutshell, it goes like this, that human beings are on the planet, we're all trapped in societies, we're trapped in our bodies, we're trapped in a variety of ways. But don't worry, if you do your proper training, if you study a lot of philosophy and you study hard, and of course if you're the right kind of person, and Plato throws that in too, you have the ability to escape all this. You can escape the cave of society, the cave of the body, everything, and you can come to neutral viewpoints on things. You can be perfectly rational about things. You can be unbiased. You can actually become a true neutral observer. You're not influenced by racism, sexism, politics, anything. You can rise above all that. That, shall we say, is a little bit of Plato talking about us, as if he doesn't use this term, of course, kind of like we're angels. We can get out of this mess. We can escape. Centuries later, we have a much different view. As a matter of fact, a lot of philosophers even at the time argued with Plato. But for the sake of a nice contrast, many centuries later, Michel Foucault comes along and says, that's totally wrong. Nobody escapes. As a matter of fact, there's no place to go. There's no outside. There's nothing to escape into. That was just all a dream. Forget it. As a matter of fact, nobody escapes because we all live within the confines of power. That's all anything is. Everything is, all thought included, is a manifestation, an expression of power. So in other words, when you think you're being rational, you may think it, you may believe it, you may be unable to find out why and what's pushing you to think in certain ways, but rest assured, power is there operating. There's no such thing as a neutral viewpoint. There's no such thing as any kind of angel. Instead, Foucault would have it something like this. We're just biological creatures, constrained by physical laws, constrained by the politics that we live in, the views and the values, and that's it. There's nothing else to say. We just do the best we can within that context. But don't think you're going to escape the clutches of power. Well, this is quite a different picture than the Platonic one. So in this course, what I want to look at and as is the notion of thinking. So what is thinking? What are we doing when we think? What's going on? Well, as we've seen, there's a variety of positions on this, but one philosopher that I want to look at is the philosopher John Dewey, who has a lovely little book that we're going to look at called How We Think. It's a classic published around 1910. So Dewey asks, what is thinking? And he's responded with this little book called How We Think. And in this book, Dewey goes through a number of examples of the ways in which humans do think, the ways in which we can think, and how we can broaden how we think and why we should broaden how we think. So for John Dewey, he's going to look at what it means to be rational, what it means to conduct inquiry, and what is evidence? What does it mean to have good evidence? And finally, to put it all together, if we think about it, what does it really mean to have an argument? What is an argument? What makes a good one? What makes a bad one? How can we tell the difference? How can we learn to formulate better arguments? Does Dewey allow us a way to escape all this? We'll ask that question and see if we can answer it. But he does think that there is a way to avoid talking about us like angels, and yet on the other hand, not talking about us as if we're completely trapped and unable to have, rational, non-biased approaches to things. And this is an incredibly important question today because many people are questioning the possibility of having rational inquiry, having objective evidence. So in this course, we're going to look at these questions, look at it in this context, look at what makes a good argument, what does logic mean, what does evidence mean, and try and understand what we can do about this in order to construct good arguments and conduct what we call proper philosophical thinking. Thank you.